Hi everyone, it's me, Tim. Today I want to talk to you about an off-the-rails tabletop RPG campaign. This is me answering a question from Wes9353, who asked, how far off the rail have you gotten a campaign to go? Now let me clarify, this wasn't my campaign. Someone else was being the GM in this. But I was a player. There were 3 players, me, Dave, and John. I'm not going to tell you what the module was. It was a professional module purchased with money, made by a professional game designer for a professionally produced tabletop role-playing game system. All I'm going to tell you is it was superheroes. Good luck finding out which one. Anyway, this was probably the worst and simultaneously most fun I think I ever had in a single play experience, a single session. There were times where we were just banging our head on the table, and there were other times we were laughing so hard we could not keep playing. The whole thing just got insane. At the end, we threw everything away. We threw away our characters. We threw away the module. We were done. So let me tell you what it was. So we were playing superheroes. So we were tasked, me, Dave, and John, with making superheroes. And this was a game that you gave yourself some abilities, and then you could pick some flaws that would give you points back that you could spend. So my character was the tropiest character ever. His name was Blur. He was a speedster. He could run really fast. He could run faster than the speed of sound. I think he could actually break Mach 2. I don't remember. I put all of his points into like dexterity and speed. So I just remember he was really fast. And his, I think one of his disadvantages or something was he was a kindergarten teacher. So during school hours, he was only available to fight crime during recess, lunch, or nap time. And then he could zip away at, Mach 2, fight the bad guys, and be back before any of the kids noticed he was gone. So that was my character. My character's name was Blur. Then Dave made his character, Superhero. He could fly, very standard, and he could hear radio waves. That was his ability. He could hear them. And I think he was strong, too. I don't remember what his offensive power was, but I remember he could hit with just his ears. He could hear radio signals, and I was like, "Oh, so what do you use that for?" And he said, "Oh, I can listen into the police, and we can find out where crime is." I'm like, "Oh, that's great!" And then we can get there because you can fly and I can run really fast. We can get there before the police. He goes, "Yeah." I said, "What's your character's name?" And he said, "Marconi." And I'm like, "Oh, like the guy who invented radio." And he said, "No, I am Marconi." And I'm like, "You're the Italian inventor of radio, Marconi?" He said, "Yeah." And I said, "But he died in the 30s, 1930s. He said, "Yeah, there was a freak accident. I learned how to perceive radio and fly." I'm like, okay. I'm not one to judge other people's characters. My character was as stereotypical and standard as they come, which, by the way, is important later. So we get to the third character. John shows up. He's taken a character who he made him super, super old, like really old, like 80s, 90s, which gave him a lot of points. And he made him paralyzed from the waist down, which means he's in a wheelchair, which gave him a ton of points. He put all of them, he maxed out his intelligence. He was as intelligent as the game let you be. And all of his other points went into electrokinesis. So he could like control electrical devices. He could turn them on and off. He could control them. Great. That's our crime fighting trio. And let me just tell you right now, I get it. That's a really unusual crime fighting trio. I'm still not sure how John's character was supposed to get to the scene of the crime. By the way, he hadn't named him. And when I heard about the intelligence and I said Dr. Cranium, and he used that. So that's our group. It's Marconi, Blur, and Dr. Cranium. So the GM buys a module, and we start playing with these characters. We're together one day, and Marconi's like, there's something going on in an apartment building. Somebody's in trouble. Might have been a convention center. All I know is there's a big building with big doors going into it. And we're like, Marconi flies off. I run off. We don't know what... I think Dr. Cranium has to like wheel himself out to his car, get inside, drive himself there, get him back in his wheelchair. All I know is he arrived late. So I get there first. Even though Marconi can fly, boom, when you're a speedster, 2 seconds later, I'm there. Something's going on in the building and people are screaming, but all the doors have been locked. No problem. Blur has vibration power. I go up to the door and go, wah. I do like 3d6 vibration power. 0 damage. I roll. No matter how high I roll, I'm doing nothing to this door. And I'm like, well, I don't understand what's going on. And the GM goes, well, they're listed as having a damage resistance of 25. I'm like, I can't do more than 18. He goes, So the GM says, okay, the fire trucks arrive and the firemen start axing open the doors. I'm like, wait. These firemen have axes that can break open a DR25 door? He goes, yeah, it says the firemen arrive. If the players haven't already, the firemen arrive and break open the doors. I'm like, first of all, I want one of those axes. And I'm going to remind you every time I use it that can do more than 25 points of damage. And 2, I want a shield made out of whatever that door is made out of. And the GM's like, I'm like, we'll talk about this later, but I'm keeping my eye on an axe in that door. So we keep playing. We're rescuing the people from it. Dr. Cranium shows up, gets out of his car, gets in his wheelchair. Just then Marconi stops and goes, oh no, this was a distraction. There's actually people robbing the bank. And we're like, oh. So he flies over there. It's just a few blocks away. And I'm like, the car's too slow. So I grab the handles of Dr. Cranium's wheelchair and race us there really fast. I don't go Mach 2 because I don't think the wheelchair can take it, but I do get us there really quickly. We arrive and the bank robbers are coming out of the bank. And they have a getaway van. They jump into this getaway van. Now, bear in mind, Marconi can fly. They're not getting away from Marconi. I can run way faster than a van could possibly ever go. Even if it was turbocharged, they're not getting away from me in a van. A plane couldn't get away from me. But we have Dr. Cranium. Cars can't start without a spark. Dr. Cranium goes, van doesn't start. Now, the GM is going crazy because it says that after a brief fight, the bad guys jump in their van and get away. Now, who would write that? Flying characters are tropey. Speedsters are tropey. How did this designer not anticipate this? And we're like, what? So the GM doesn't know what to do. So he decides to go ahead and grab the boss from Act 3 and have him show up. Let me tell you about the boss. None of these were superheroes. The boss is a supervillain that uses a power suit. So he flies in, lands, and is like, I'm taking you down, Marconi, Blur, and Dr. Cranium. We didn't have a group name. Dr. Cranium goes, power suit turned off, which locks him in place, and he falls over. At this point, we're just roaring with laughter because this is so bad. This is just... We're barely starting Act 1 and everything is already flying in chaos and weirdness. And so then the GM goes, oh, wait, it's not electrically powered. I'm going to say this power suit is fusion powered. And I'm like, but it's fusion power is just heat. You use it to make electricity. It's not, unless it's a steam powered suit. I don't see how Dr. Cranium's not going to be able to keep it. And he's like, no, it's fusion powered. He can't do anything. So we end up having a fight with Power Armor Guy. We rip him a new one. His suit doesn't even have the DR that those doors did. I damaged him with vibration. You know, Dr. Cranium is preventing like he had a electrical device, electrical weapon. At least that didn't work. So he's punching us. Marconi's doing whatever it was Marconi did, which might just be punching him back. We managed to subdue him. And of course, all of his minions. The police arrive, we turn them over. Keep in mind, we're not even supposed to be done with Act 1, but we finished the module. We just throw away our characters, we get rid of the module. We're done. This was the fastest I've ever seen a tabletop campaign go completely off the rails, and shockingly with a store-bought module. So anyway, we ended up enjoying it. I didn't even have to read my notes for this. I remember this happened more than 30 years ago. This probably happened in the late 80s. So 89, that would be 30, let's say it happened 35 years ago. I still remember it because we were laughing so hard. Like I said, this was the worst, but at the same time, one of the most fun tabletop sessions I'd ever been in. But yeah, it went off the rails early, quickly, and completely. So, Wes9353, I hope that answers your question.